Good evening, everyone. The public has been duly informed of this meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by posting at least 48 hours in advance a notice on the bulletin boards in Stevenson and Churchill schools, a notice to the township clerk, and a notice to the Herald News and the Progress. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me start off by saying this is the best turnout we've had at a Board of Education meeting in 6 years. So thank you all very much for coming out on this cold, rainy night. We greatly appreciate it. One of the things that we've talked about on this board for a few months now is celebrating educational excellence. And we feel like it's something that hasn't been done in a long time. And we want to bring that back to this community because we have a ton of wonderful students, loving, caring, bright, smart, and they're truthfully the future of this community and our future in general. So it brings me great pleasure to announce that tonight, myself, along with our superintendent Ryan and the board, we're going to be honoring the highest NJSLA scores from our 2023-2024 school year. So if you guys would join me and our superintendent Ryan down below, that would be great.
Good evening, everybody. This is the best part of what we do. Now, again, these scores are from last year, so they're all a year older. In fact, we have a couple students who are now at West Essex Middle School. We were glad that they're able to come back and join us. So we're going to start with the third grade. They're in fourth grade now. So we're going to start with the highest NJSLA scores in ELA. So let's start with third grade math, ELA 3. Not only did this student have the highest score, he had the only perfect score on the NJSLA 3, with a perfect score of 850. If we could have come up here as our first award is Jake Agostini.
This is for you. Now, can you stand here for just a second? Turn around, face all these people. Hang right here, Mr. Gupta.
And the reason you're not going anywhere, Jake, is the highest score for the Math 3 exam was also Jake Agostini. Well done. All right, moving on to ELA 4. The highest score on the NJSLA ELA 4 exam was Aiden Miasso. For for Math 4, Cameron Carter. Moving on to last year's fifth grade, for ELA, Carson Anderson. For Math 5, we have Madison Manning. And fifth graders also take the NJSLA in science. So for Science 5, we have Joseph Patullo. And for sixth grade, who are making us now proud at West Essex Middle School, for ELA 6, we have Ariella Galindo. And making us proud in math, for Math 6, we have Rania Suleri.
So what we would like to do at this point is just give each one of the individuals an opportunity to take a picture with the board, and then as a group, if that's okay. And if any of the parents want to take any pictures, please feel free to do so. So one more big round of applause for all of them. Absolutely an amazing achievement. Jake, come on up.
It's tough.
Come on up. Melinda just taught me something. That was foolish, she's flipping it over. Just put it right on top. Bring that over, Aiden. Yeah. Thank you, Aiden. Good job. Come on up. Cameron's tall. Carson's ahead. I like it. Come on back. You ready too? Let's see. Yeah, come back. Let's get this entire group. Jake, right in the center. Joe, we'll scoot over a bit. All right, back up. Come over here. But you know what? Let's get it. You got it. Okay, to make sure we don't want to do it now. One more big round of applause for all of us. Congratulations. So to continue with wanting to get more and more individuals to board meetings, we are going to be handing out other things every month. Correct, Ryan?
Yes, we will. We have Bulldogs of the Month that we'll be doing. We'll be doing Cardinals of the Month. And we're just going to find all different kinds of things that our students are achieving in the classroom, outside of the classroom, around our communities. So if those things come up, feel free to reach out to me. You can say, you know, my son did this or my daughter that. We just really want to applaud all of the awesome things that our kids do. that you just don't get to hear about. We hear about certain things, but we want to bring all of that out, and we're going to be doing that to staff too. And speaking of staff, a couple of thank yous, those students who are up here. Students, great job, wonderful job, very, very impressive. And the staff that's here, you have the teachers that have been supporting you, the parents, you guys have been dedicated with them. Some people, you know, you have to prioritize these things, and some people will say, well, testing's not that important. Well, we know, and I know from my years at West Essex, it is very important. It's a skill that the kids can build, and as they get that skill in elementary school, it'll serve them well. So thank you to the parents for supporting them, for the teachers who've worked with them all this way, and of course the students themselves. Very, very impressive. I want to see you guys back here again. Now you have set the bar. I want to see who comes back. Jake, 2 more next year. No, the pressure's on. So we look forward to those awards as well.
Yeah, and to the teachers that are here, thank you so much for coming out. Obviously, you are a huge impact in their lives, so without you, none of this is possible. So let's give our teachers a big round of applause. Let's give the parents for coming out a big round of applause. And although I might regret this, we're going to give those of you that are not here for the remainder of the meeting an opportunity. We're going to take a 1-minute recess. We want to thank you for coming out. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and if you would like to, you could leave at this point. Thank you so much for coming out. Congratulations, students. All right, for those of you that decided to stay, we greatly appreciate it. Some familiar faces. Just a couple things on the President's Report. I want to thank the community members that came out and celebrated the Winter Wonderland event that the Municipal Alliance put up. It was a wonderful event, and it was great to see so many community members. We saw some teachers there. I want to thank Mr. Silvestri for having the choir there. They did a great job singing. It was cold. The kids had a blast. It's a great event, and we're very blessed to be part of it. So thank you for those that came out. I would also like to extend a thank you to everyone involved in the variety show. I had the opportunity to attend it. It was fantastic. Every act was great. The kids had so much fun, and they put so much thought and effort into this, and it was just it's great to see, and again, it's some of the things that we don't celebrate enough, but we're going to moving forward. So thank everyone that was involved, all of our teachers and staff members that made it possible. Without you, obviously, the variety show wouldn't be the success that it is. So thank you. And last I have is, this is a little bit of buildings and grounds, but I'll put it in our president's report in an effort to move things along. The paving project has been completed behind Stevenson. So just a special thank you to DLS Contracting. To my understanding, Ryan said they did a little more than contracted to do. You can elaborate on what they did. I'm really not sure, but, thank you to them, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, they went above and beyond. There were some issues back there that we didn't encounter, and then there was an issue at Churchill that we wanted to fix. So we just talked to them and said, look, you guys are here at Stevenson. Do you mind going over to Churchill? There's an area right there that's causing puddles and things. Could you just fix it up? No problem. They went over, so it's good that that's done just in time for the weather. So now there should be a lot safer to drive back there at both schools.
Great, and that just about wraps up my president's report. Mr. Superintendent?
All right. So a lot of things going on, a lot of holiday events going on the last couple weeks. So I jotted some things down so I didn't forget. We had the very successful holiday fair at both Stevenson and Churchill. Thank you to all of the parent volunteers to make that a worthwhile event. A lot of kids bought lots of stuff, which are probably at your house right now. First graders at Stevenson got to watch the Polar Express. Not sure if you know, but one of the parents, Nicole Sudol, she knew someone who actually does this professionally. So he came in dressed up as the conductor. Unbelievable, spitting image. He was great talking to the kids. So we're happy to say that he's going to be coming back and doing that every year. She's going to reach out to him. He's going to do that for us. So we're looking forward to that. That was quite the experience. I did not expect to see him when I popped in. He looks just like from the movie. We had winter concerts at Churchill where students of the band, choir, and orchestra performed beautifully under the direction of Mr. Silvestri and Mr. Lazaro. You guys had a very, very busy week because, as Anthony mentioned, you had the variety show on Friday. It was literally a standing room only to watch a record number of performances. So thank you to the members of the variety show committee and all the staff members and parents who helped make the show a huge success. Because it has grown so much and we had so many performances and acts, we will be considering maybe going to an evening or looking at a larger venue. Families did not follow that 2-person limit per child, which is why it was standing room only, but to be understood. So we'd rather have it in a place and have it at a time where everybody can attend and we don't have to limit to 2 people. So we're looking forward to that even growing next year. Immediately after the show, all hands on deck, we transformed the gym into a cafeteria, and it was like 5.2 seconds, just tables coming out, tablecloths going up, serving everybody. The class moms did an amazing job. You can tell they're veterans at this because they just knew where to go, where to put things. So that went very, very well. They did a great job preparing the tables and getting all of the food orders to all of the students for the Churchill Feast. While that was going on, over at Stevenson, the students were participating in the Winter Carnival. There were stations of events set up, including a sled pull, a ring toss. They had a snowball fight set up, and Dr. Shabuko set up a little photo op where they could stand in front and get a Winter Wonderland type picture. Thank you again to the class moms there who ran each station, and Miss Brianna for taking the lead, handling all the classroom management when the snowball fight would get out of control. She did a great job stepping in there. And of course, thank you to both principals for everything they had to do to make sure all those events in December happened. Last but not least, Spirit Week started today with Pajama Day at Stevenson. In case you were dropping your kid off at Churchill and you wondered why I was in pajama pants with the Grinch on them, it was because it was Pajama Day over at Stevenson. Meanwhile, at Churchill, it was wear something white or blue. Tomorrow at both schools, students and staff are encouraged to wear holiday or winter accessories like reindeer antlers, Santa hat, anything like that. And also at Stevenson, they also made it into an ugly sweater day if they prefer to do that as well. Thank you to our student council members and advisors for organizing the different Spirit Days. It should be a great week. And that's it for Superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wally, our BA report?
Yep, I just want to provide a little bit of an explanation about an agenda item. Under the grant section, there's a resolution that doesn't really go into too much detail, so I thought I'd explain the grant a little bit. Every year, for the past couple of years, the Department of Local Government Services and Department of Community Affairs offer a grant for recreational purposes only. So it has to be spent on improving or maintaining recreation facilities. So it's a competitive grant. It's a maximum award of $100,000, but there are exceptions to that cap. And after discussions with Mr. Gupta, Principal Tribuco, Building and Grounds, and our facilities director, it was determined that the Stevenson Schools playground area would be this year's grant submission. So the resolution is for $200,400, and what that covers is multiple stages. So while we were out there looking at the grounds, you recognize, all right, the mulch may need to be replaced, but in doing so, well, how are we gonna prevent the mulch from washing away? So then you start looking at curbing, then you start looking at drainage, then you start looking at asphalt. So that encompasses multiple stages of a project, and that's why it's up to $200,000. Once we receive a determination, if we receive the award, whatever balance of funds come to us, then we'll decide how to proceed with that project. Are we gonna do the mulch? Are we gonna do the asphalt? Are we gonna incorporate some games into it? But that's basically what the project encompasses. And again, it didn't really give much of a description in a resolution, but I just wanted to make it aware that it has to be spent on that type of, it can't be spent on anything else other than recreational services.
And Wally, just as a point of reference, just to clarify, if the bid proposal comes in at 200,000, and let's say hypothetically we get $100,000, that $100,000 that we're, of money which we'll be spending, that's money that can't be used towards salaries or school books. It's money that's specifically allocated for.
Yeah, it's specifically for recreational purposes for what the grant was written. So the grant was written for.
So I'm sorry, Wally, I'm talking about the balance.
Oh, the
So I
balance.
just
So,
want the
yeah.
general public to know that we're not going to take $100,000 away from curriculum, we're not going to take $100,000 away from education, we're not going to take $100,000 away from computer science, that money comes from an allotted.
Yes, that'll come out, if we decide that, let's say we get the full 100 and we decide, listen, this is a good opportunity to do the entire project, that money would come out of capital reserves, and that would be spent solely for the purpose of improving the grounds.
I think that's important to note, given the current climate of the district's financial state. Even though things look pretty good, we just want everyone to know that we are being extremely diligent, and the money that would be used, if we so choose to complete the project, is coming from money that's allocated for things such as that.
Yeah, that's actually come up a couple times where people have said, if we had money for paving or we had money for this, why don't we use it for instruction or resources? That is in capital reserve. That money cannot be moved to the general fund, so we cannot use the paving money to buy new textbooks or provide new classroom materials. It's a totally separate account. You can't move that back. So whenever we talk about capital reserve, that has to be spent on those types of things. Unfortunately, you cannot move it back and use it on salaries or anything like that.
And the state wants you to do that because they want you to maintain your buildings, you know, because otherwise things go into disrepair and then you have bigger problems. So the state requires you to maintain buildings and put monies aside on a maintenance plan and a long-range facilities plan. So that's where that capital reserve money really helps out by having that.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Now we'll move on to board committee reports. Do you have anything, Joe?
Buildings and grounds, just mentioned, you mentioned earlier that we finished the paving. That'll be in use, I believe, is that this week that's in use?
Yeah?
We already started? And in January, we'll go over some future projects for this summer and potentially the summer after, you know,
Awesome.
just to get things get ahead of it.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Nothing on finance.
Nothing on finance. Melinda?
Yep, for special ed, I just want to mention that CPAC is presenting the Digitally Distracted Parenting in the Age of Technology, a presentation by Tom Kirsting. It's going to be held on January 16th, 2025 at 7 o'clock at the Fairfield Rec. And just to give you a little background on exactly what they're going to be talking about, his bio, Tom Kirsting, he's a nationally renowned psychotherapist, author, and television contributor. He's the author of the best-selling books, Disconnected, How to Protect Your Kids from Harmful Effects of Device Dependency, and Raising Healthy Teenagers, Equipping Your Child to Navigate the Pitfalls and Dangers of Teen Life. Tom is a regular guest expert on many television, news, and talk shows where he offers insight and advice about parenting, relationships, and wellness. Tom lectures throughout the country. So this is really a wonderful opportunity to get the community out, to get anyone out. This is open to our whole community. The group that runs CPAC. It's a wonderful group of volunteers that really try to bring us valuable information. So if you can make it on January 16th at 7 at the Rec Center, we'd love to see you there. Please just mark your calendars.
I'd also like to task some of the individuals in the audience tonight. I see we have our HSA co-president and a member of our Education Foundation. If you can really get this message out, if we can provide it to you one way or another, and even the teachers that are here tonight. I had the opportunity to attend one of these events recently, and it was amazing the work that Megan Caffone and her team put in. And there were so many things that I had no idea about that didn't only pertain to special education. And I think it's really important to get the message out to all the parents to kind of see, what's out there, what help is available, and to actually help guide you if you think you might have a question on as to where your child is or might be going, or I think it's very helpful. So if we can get their mission statement out, maybe HSA and FEA could really, FEF can get that out there and email it, and teachers as well, that would be great. We would really like this January meeting to be a success because it's so much valuable information that we think it's important for the community and for everyone to come out and really take part in it. Angela's not here, unfortunately, so I'll just give everyone an update in negotiations. We are happy to report that we've come to an agreement. We've accepted the teacher's salary guide, so hopefully they could ratify and we can get them their retro checks as soon as possible. So we're very excited about that. We can kind of put that chapter behind us and really focus on what's important, which Joe's been saying for quite some time. We're really longing for meetings where we talk really not so much about finance, but really education, right? And building that strong foundation that we know all the kids are capable of, and we know the teachers are doing daily. So we're really excited and pleased that we've come to that agreement with them. We've accepted their proposal, and we can all kind of move forward and start 2025, full steam ahead. So that's my report. I don't think there's anything else in regards to committee. So with that being said, I'd like to open the floor for public comments on agenda items only. Name and address for the record, although I think we know.
Leaning towards maybe unsafe with some of the broken equipment that we have, and I know we stalled at times because we didn't want to do a big investment, not really clear on exactly how we might, over the longer term horizon, be either considering enhancements to or renovations to the back of the building. So I would like to just encourage the board as we start to think about in the more constructive way of planning moving forward to see what opportunities there might be. I know a few meetings back I had mentioned, and I think Dr. Griffith, you said you have been looking into this, that I know some other towns have been looking at opportunities to secure grant money where they're looking at resiliency and trying to see that as part of their constructions and build, they're building in water retention. And clearly in this area, we do struggle. We were very fortunate that in the fall, we had a very dry fall. I think we were all very eager for that, maybe the last 2 weeks notwithstanding. But I know that typically in the community, there's a lot of concern around additional builds and will be put in the non-permeable spaces at the school because it does have a knock-on impact to the surrounding town. So I would like to see if there's perhaps an opportunity there as well to pursue potential additional monies that might give us some creative outlet as we consider how we're going to continue to evolve our drop-off pickup process. Because I think so far it's been working smoothly. I think perhaps better than some community members might have feared. But I also know we're approaching the winter months, and I think snow and ice may be a little bit more challenging. Clearly the inclement days make it a little bit more challenging. So I think as we consider how we most utilize that space, perhaps there's an opportunity there to see if there's additional money available to us, and if it can have that additional benefit for the water resiliency, then that might actually give the overall town a big impact as well.
Thank you. And just to touch on some of the comments, That was one of the reasons why we decided to put a little bit of money into the fencing, because we realized after evaluating where the kids spend the majority of their time, it's the blacktop and it's that main field. And that field, the fencing along that field was really dangerous. It was bent in several areas, the pipes were broken, and it was really a hazard for our kids to be playing kickball and dodgeball and baseball and whatever they play at lunch, knockout. So with, a plan eventually to do a referendum, which will affect that whole back area, to dump a large sum of money we didn't feel would be financially responsible. So we started with the fields because the kids are playing there the most. And what we're going to do is work closely with Recreation, because Recreation does care for the fields back there, and they do all of our lawn maintenance back there. So we're just working with them to get the fields safe, which I believe they are now with the fencing the way that it is. And we're kind of tackling these projects one by one in order of importance. I think what you stated about pickup and drop off, it is going extremely smooth, smoother than most people would have thought. But with that being said, in the inclement weather, I just want to remind everybody that the first time for everything is always going to present a challenge. So our first big snowstorm is going to be a challenge. And we're aware that parents are going to be upset and it's not ideal, but we want you to be aware that we have our teachers out there, they're doing a fantastic job, right? I see our superintendent out there on a daily basis. I see our building principals out there. So just be mindful that every first is going to be a challenge. Our first major downpour, right? Our first major snowstorm. Our first snowstorm that freezes over and relates to ice. Now, I can tell you that I'm working closely with our mayor who does all of our salting back there. They are well aware that we are a school. They are on top of things. They are going to make sure that we have plenty of salt, that area is taken care of. And we just want everyone to be mindful that we're aware, and as smooth as things are going, that can change in a couple of days with a storm or an ice over. I think one of the things Ryan had the paving contractor do was address an area that was kind of crippled at the end of the driveway that we just did that was falling apart and water was puddling. And if I'm not mistaken, that's where DLS kind of.
Yeah, the concrete was completely falling apart there, just from the cars going over and over, and it was just getting beaten down. And for sure, if we did any plowing, it would be a disaster.
And
So
it
they
wasn't
came
the
over.
paving that they recently did. It was
No.
it was decrepit from
Yes.
years
Yeah,
past.
it's old paving.
So with that being said, we're aware, and we're glad things are working out and they're getting better daily. From what I understand, Churchill pickup and drop off's relatively smooth, which is a great thing. And knock on wood. I think Ryan did a great job, and Wally did a great job finding out exactly what needed to be done in Stevenson and getting it done before we had these couple weeks of rain, because, for the people that have been teaching here for years and for the community members that have children that have gone through Stevenson, it only takes one or two really bad rainstorms to swamp that area, and then it becomes a whole nother issue. Now we're tearing up the fields that our kids use in the summertime to play various sports. So the turnaround between what exactly would work, getting it on paper, getting it out to bid, and getting the work complete was a lot quicker than most people realize. So for that, we're extremely thankful for the hard work that went into that, because, you look at the forecast for this week, it's not promising. And I think eventually we would have been doing some damage to the grass. And at some point, I think cars might have possibly gotten stuck. So, kudos to them for getting it done and doing it in a timely fashion so that we could avoid all that. But again, just please keep in mind that with all first, there's going to be problems, and we'll work through them. They have a plan in place. We'll figure things out as we go. I know Ryan has we talked about inclement weather. We talked about snow, and we're going to do our best to make sure that the impact is as minimal as possible for the least amount of time. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your comments as always. Anyone else on agenda items? Okay, with that being said, we will go to,
Nope.
oh, we have another one? Oh. I put my head down too soon.
I just wanted to echo Ryan's sentiments about the Polar Express at Stevenson.
That's awesome.
Stevenson School is filled with a lot of beautiful traditions, and the Polar Express is a beautiful first-grade tradition.
And with the donation from the Sudol family this year, and the Mazzio family donated the little tickets as well. So the families really came together, and it was really even more magical than it's been in the past. As having seen many of them, this was one of the best.
That's amazing.
So we thank the family so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Anyone else? All right, with that being said, we'll move on to finance.
Sure. So page 4, under finance, the following finance motions are made at the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. Anything placed on this agenda, items 1 to 5 will be voted upon in one motion. And I would like to motion items 1 through 5.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Okay, page 6, under grants, the following grant motion is made at the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. Anything placed on this agenda, just one item, will be voted upon in one motion. I will motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Page 7, administration. The following administrative motions are made at the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. Anything placed on this agenda, items 1 and 2, will be voted upon in one motion. I motion.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Okay, page 8, buildings and grounds. The following buildings and grounds motions is made at the recommendation of the superintendent. Anything placed on this agenda, item 1 will be voted upon in one motion. So I motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Page 9, personnel. The following personnel motions are made at the recommendation of the superintendent. Anything placed on this agenda, items 1 through 4, will be voted upon in one motion. I motion items 1 through 4.
May I have a second?
Second.
Roll?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
and Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Okay, almost there. Page 10, no one's allowed to take off anymore. For curriculum program, the following curriculum program motion is made at the recommendation of the superintendent. Anything placed on this agenda, item 1 will be voted upon in one motion. I motion item 1.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
and Mr. DePesco.
Yes.
Okay, page 11, policy. The following policy motion is made at the recommendation of the superintendent of schools. Anything placed on this agenda, item 1 will be voted upon in one motion. I motion item 1.
Second?
I second.
Roll?
Mr. Feedy,
Yes.
Ms. Street,
Yes.
and Mr. DePesco.
Yes. Thank you, Joe
Oh, you're welcome.
and Melinda.
No problem.
Appreciate your hard work during that portion of this meeting. Now I'd like to move on to public comments, non-agenda items. With that being said, I'd like to take a second and wish Miss Anise the best.
Yes.
We are going to miss you. I know Mia's going to miss you. So health
Aw.
and happiness in the rest of 2024 and 2025. And we hope to, yes, take your time and we hope to see you.
Yes. We'll miss you.
Our next meeting, be it resolved that the next meeting will be held in person on January 9th, 2025. Public work session beginning at 6 p.m., followed by executive session with public session resuming at approximately 7:30 p.m. at the Fairfield Municipal Building. May I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
Roll.
All ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, yes.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy
Happy New Year.
holidays. Happy New Year.